to this episode of Dyson Dish. It's me, Sparks Valentine, and I'm joined with Foxfire.
Hi.
And Erica Nerdy Yogi.
Hello.
And let's get on to our topics for this week's episode. Go ahead and roll that beautiful funky dice, Erica.
It's foxes.
Of course it's fun.
Of course.
Okay. Well, so my topic this week is what creature is each one of us? What do we see each other as? And ourselves, really. And besides that, what's our favorite? So, start with what I think I am. I think I would probably be a fairy or otherwise some other type of fae, just because I'm chaotic naturally in my life. I joke a lot, even on things that should not be a joking matter, which is what I feel like is a telltale sign of a fae. For Sparks, he is probably going to kick my tail for this one, but honestly, just the characters that Sparks plays, I can't help but think he's got a little bit of a succubus type thing going. He's always got the big titties, the beautiful woman that is really smart, really clever, and always has the sex appeal. Have to go with succubus for Sparks for just that reason.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And Erica Nerdy Yogi. So you were a lot harder for me to decide. And you're probably going to laugh at me when I say this, but I think you would probably fall more into a lich. And that is not because you're evil or anything like that, but because you're very smart, very organized, and you plan things out a lot, which is a telltale thing for a lich, I feel like. Because they're very smart, and if you like go off of lore and go off of the way that they plan stuff out to a T if you play them right. So that's why I pick that for Erica. It may be weird choices, but that's what I see. Thoughts?
Sparks, you want me to go? You want to go?
You go ahead.
Thoughts. I appreciate that because smart is. There's been lots of words used to describe me, but intelligent usually isn't one of them. So I sure do appreciate that. No, I actually considered it like, I considered a hag for myself because I love hags. But it's kind of funny that you went that way because I was thinking more, it's not that I'm evil and stuff like that, but I honestly, like, sometimes I think being like Dexter, the Dexter route, it's like, well, there's magic and stuff. What's a couple of souls of evil beings that you take?
You're gonna be a serial killer that kills serial killers.
Yeah, or like pedophiles and rapists. But I'm a lich. I take their souls and I live forever. And then I help everyone else who's like a good citizen and like who is, you know what I mean? Like you go the Dexter route with a lich.
Why does that sound like what you tried to turn Striga into?
Well, because that was kind of the idea. The succubus, that's the first thing that popped in my mind for Sparks. And then I rethought it because I was like, I don't know. I feel like this one fits in better. And you'll find mine out here in a minute. Sparks?
Definitely yes for me, the succubus. I have actually played a succubus in a campaign before, so it was very nice. Your fairy, 100%. Yes, I could see it. That chaotic nature, and the lich for Erica. She played a real good lich in that school campaign. So I would agree with all the choices. I would agree with your choices. They please me.
I want to know why with the lich. I get foxes, but I want to know why you think this evil undead choice.
Because they're not always
is
evil.
the best for me.
They don't always have to be evil. It's just the way you make them and how you play them. But the whole the planning things out is very much something that, as Fox said, that comes to mind. It's, you have that. And obviously you'll hear my choices when it gets to my turn with it. But like that planning is honestly like what makes it very very much stick.
Fair. I am a planner.
Yeah, and that's how we have two planners on this podcast.
And
I'm
neither one
gonna
of them is me.
I'm gonna roll to see if you tell yours or I tell mine. Okay, you're gonna be one or
more
two,
dice roll.
and 3 I'll re-roll. It was 1.
So who is one? Because I was both 1 and 2.
Oh fuck. Sorry. Yeah, real intelligent. Proving your point here, Ashley.
She's trying to sabotage your choice. Trying to
I see
sabotage your
that.
choice.
I see that. But the planning part still sticks.
Yeah, there was a plan in there. It was just it was real bulletproof. Sparks is 1 and I'm 2. 3 is a reroll. It's a 3, so it's a reroll. So Sparks, you go. You get to dish yours first.
Okay, cool. So I think that Fox is 100% a displacer beast. That was the first thing that came to mind. Was displacer was a displacer
Really?
beast because Danger Kitty.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
not because of your cat, your villain cat, but just because you really do like cats and you always have kitties attacking you, and displacer beasts always travel in packs. So I know unless you're like out at my apartment, you're gonna have your kitties around you, so you travel in a pack. And also
You're not wrong.
cute but vicious.
You're not wrong.
Cute, exactly.
Yep,
Exactly.
Look at the baby.
I know.
The fur baby.
The pure
I know,
blackness
I your nap. You'll be
of the
fine.
kitty cat. But
Well,
that's why I like 100% displacer beast, hands down, Danger Kitty.
Okay.
And then Erica, I like thought for you kind of like an elemental of some sort, just because you very much like nature, kind of like an earth or like a water elemental. You're very much like a nature person. You like to be outside, you like to be in nature, you like to be on the water. So like one of those like elementals, like I kind of, that was like my first thought for you, was one of those elementals. Like maybe maybe fire and stone too, but like the main ones that I saw were like earth and water, like those elementals. And then for myself, I was 100% on with the succubus train, but I honestly kind of think like I would be maybe like a dragon of sorts because of the horde. I like to hoard my things. I like to have have shiny, pretty things.
You are a collector.
Yeah, I am very much a collector. So it's one of those like, I see thing I like, I want. I just don't have underlings to. I just don't have underlings to pay for my things. So
not yet.
Not yet.
You can always PayPal us. We have
a Dyson dish.
At Dyson Dish, we have a PayPal. Check it on our link tree. It's a tip jar.
Help grow the horde.
Those are my choices.
Grow our horde.
Exactly. I will totally not spend that money on other statues. Totally not.
We will totally spend that money to go to cons and meet people and not help Sparks grow their collection of statues of big anime titty bitches.
Not an issue. I don't have an issue. Okay. But what are your thoughts on my choices?
You want to go, Erica?
Sure. I like I said, I considered the displacer beast for Fox. That was the first creature I thought of. But then I chose something different because I felt like, I don't know, I guess that's more of how I see her. And I think that's kind of the way I did it. I've built them the way I see you. But the succubus thing, like I said, I considered it, but I felt like there was something else for you, Sparks. The elemental, I think, is cool. I did think of a mermaid for myself, but I would want to be more of like maybe like a vicious mermaid, you know? Like a really hideous one. But she like I don't
You want
know.
to be more of like the siren,
Yeah.
like in like
Maybe
Greek
she
mythology.
looks pretty, but she's hideous. But the idea of being water elemental, I do like that too, because that could be cool. I like the elemental idea for sure. Because then I could just go hang out on the elemental plane of water and see all kinds of cool stuff. Do you imagine what lives in there? That'd be so cool.
Yeah, and shape yourself into a mermaid.
Exactly.
Perfect.
For sure.
Perfect.
Perfect. Throw some stuff, on you.
Yeah.
Sand dollars and seaweed wraps.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
What are your opinions?
I can definitely see the elemental for Erica. You do love the outdoors, and it seems like anytime it's not raining and not freezing, you're outside more than you're inside. So I could definitely see some type of elemental or a nature spirit of sorts. But for me, I'm not gonna lie, Displacer Beast threw me off. I mean, it's still kind of believe they're monstrosities, aren't they?
I believe so, yeah.
I was gonna say I think they're still Fae, but I don't think they are. But that did throw me off. I'm not gonna lie. I still don't really get how we got that for me, but I could have gotten so much worse.
It's not a bad thing.
For me, I think there's a trickery when that beast. Like I consider them very cunning beasts. You have some beasts or like, and I guess I shouldn't say beasts, monstrosities, that are, I mean, they are cunning in a way. But I feel like there's a lot of tactics with it. And like Sparks had said, like there is a group and it is like cute kitty and like that more animal vibe. I get that with you. And so that's kind of why I thought of it. Like there's a little bit of chaotic with them, but they're cute and cuddly if you can somehow get close enough without it trying to eat you.
I like I said, I'm not mad about it.
You're
Just
cute but
interesting.
dangerous.
Cute but deadly.
You're cute but deadly.
And yes, could definitely see a dragon for you, Sparks, except I definitely still see the succubus more. I thought about you being
like
a
a
dragon.
mixture. Like a mixture.
Yeah, definitely thought about you being a dragon, but
like a really sexy dragon.
Yes, I am the dragon from Shrek. I'm the dragon from Shrek.
Oh my god.
You have like a bunch of donkeys that worship you and go do stuff for you.
Yes.
Kobolds that ride donkeys.
Oh yes.
My gosh.
All right, on to your picks, Erica.
For Ashley, I picked a kitsune that specializes in healing. Because of more the animalistic part of it. I just feel that with you. Like, I don't know. And it's an aesthetic I know you like and you enjoy. And then the healing aspect of it, I guess it's because like when I think of you as a person, and this is on a personal level, I look at you like you're one of the nicest, sweetest, most caring people I know. And so when I think about healers, that's kind of how I see them as well.
Aww.
So I built you as a kitsune who specializes in healing.
Aww.
So, Sparks. Don't knee-jerk reaction to this because it could be taken a negative way, but it's not. I made you a tiefling because I think tieflings are beautiful and they are sexy. So there's the sex appeal there. But I also made it to where you are some type of royalty, or you work in some type of like the governmental courts, like ruling. I can see you in throne rooms and making decisions and tables that are of great magnitude, and just having like an opinion. People are willing to, when you walk in a room, then like people feel like when you say something, it's worth being heard.
Yes, I approve. Yes.
Okay. Because when I wrote down in government, I was like, a lot of people think that people in government are like, it's a bad thing. But then I was like, but I don't think so all the time. There's good people as well as bad. So
Yeah.
yeah. For myself, I wrote down a fairy barbarian that is more of a tribal sort of fairy who can wield a giant weapon somehow, because that's who I want to be.
Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit further on why you
I'm
identify
thinking
with a vicious fairy barbarian?
I would, because like I'm thinking like this is us in like D&D land. Like I'm in D&D land. Who am I gonna be in
Small
D&D
but
land?
mighty.
I would love,
Small but mighty.
a small but mighty. I don't know. Like I think being a warrior fairy that can like has a little bit trickster to her. She also can like she's on the front lines and kicking ass. I think that's cool. And she's like aesthetically fairy, but she's kind of like a little bit Viking at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess I could see that a little bit. Sparks, do you want to make your comments first, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I 100% see the kitsune for Fox because that is their brand.
Exactly.
100%. And being the healer, like majoring like in healing, like yes, I could see that 100%. Ashley, Fox, you are the nicest person I think anybody could meet. We haven't seen your evil side yet, so
You don't want to.
and we're gonna try to keep it that way. So, but yeah, I do agree with Erica. You are probably one of the nicest people that I've ever met. You're
Aw.
always there to help, always there to make sure everybody's okay, make sure everybody's good. The tiefling for me, 100%. I've played so many tieflings. I was, yep, and in some form of power, it's very dangerous. But no, I could 100% see that though. And then you as a fairy barbarian, I was like, as soon as you go fairy and then you kept going, I was like, barbarian with a giant ass weapon.
Yeah.
Because if a weapon is magical, it should shrink to your size.
That's exactly right. That
And
is
then
always my answer.
when
And
you go
everybody
to
always says
hit,
no.
when you go to hit, it just turns bigger as it swings down.
I
That's
don't
what
know
it
about
should
that,
do.
but maybe it could be flavored that way.
Just so that way you still have that damage. Because I know some people could be like, well, then if it shrinks down to your size, the damage could go lower. And you're like, well, that just defeats the whole purpose of having that big ass weapon. So it's like,
I mean,
And that's where you just
Yeah.
respond with its magic.
exactly.
exactly. And it's also like, this is fun. Like, I get, and that's like a whole like raw conversation that we definitely could have about like equipment. But like if being a fairy, I don't see how, as being a fairy versus being a Goliath, gives me an advantage to using a two-handed weapon. What am I going to get as a fairy that makes me wielding a two-handed weapon so OP that I
You can
can't do
fly.
it? Take away with my fucking wings. Don't let me fly, and that's fine with me. That's always been my response.
Makes sense.
I just want that like that image of it. I like the imagery in my mind of her, but that's a discussion for a different day. So
Fonks, your opinions.
So, I really have trouble seeing you as a barbarian, Erica, even though I know you enjoy playing that class, just because I personally just see you as a smart, planning person. So, I just have trouble seeing specifically barbarian. If you said
Barbarians
fighter,
can
I
be
would have been
smart.
like, not usually are they smart. They can be, but they aren't usually played that way, and that's why I have trouble seeing her, being that I just see Erica as being a tactician more than a run in smash things, which is how barbarians are typically viewed.
Yeah.
But that is very in line with you, Erica, because I know you love barbarians and you love fairies, so it's very in line with you. The tiefling for Sparks, I think, was spot on, because that is the type of person that Sparks gives off. I mean, very smart, very cunning, has got that sex appeal. So I could definitely see that for Sparks. It's kind of why I chose Succubus. I went more the monster route, you went more the human route.
Yeah.
As for myself, well, I've played Kitsunes in the past. They are extremely fun to play. I love the mythology behind them, and I almost chose that for myself, but I chose Fairy. So definitely I think it's spot on. And as far as the healer thing, I mean, every time I play a character, generally, if they have access to a healing spell, I will take it. Just for the pure fact of the matter that I don't want to be in the middle of combat and end up alone.
That's true. It's valid. I have one request. Can y'all
Which did
like
happen to me in a campaign once. Where I was the only
improvise
one left
while I go
standing.
to the bathroom?
And I went, or "Healing could
word,
we just
Run away."
pause the recording?
And on to our
Okay,
next
so we'll roll.
topic.
That would be your Sparks.
All right. All right. So, my topic is technology at the table. Pros and cons of technology at the table. So, you can come at it from like a player standpoint, or you can come at it from like a DM standpoint. Your thoughts kind of on both of that. So, I can go first. I would say the pros for a player is you don't have to have as much stuff out at one time. So like if you're like a player and you, let's say you use like pencil and paper, you're going to have like multiple sheets of paper for your character. You're going to have the dreaded pencil marks when you have to erase something, which is something that I hate. The perfectionist in me does not like that. So that is a pro for technology. Like you don't have as much. Look, okay, not everybody is like that, but I am. So with like having to, like the technology, you can pull up spells super easily. You can kind of check something if you need to check what an ability does. You can look it up real fast. It also, another pro that like I kind of see for it is it can bring connectiveness, like people together. Like we kind of touched on this in like another episode, but like playing online, technology gives you the option to be able to play with other people, to be able to play online, to be able to kind of stay connected in that sense. The cons, it can be kind of pricey if you want to do an all technology, like if you want to do an all technology like thing for, especially for any role playing game. You can have people get distracted by lots of things on if they have technology. And on point of the bringing people together, it can also kind of put up a shield between people as well. Like you're just always looking at this and you're not looking at anything else. You're just looking at your character's things instead of trying to engage with the group and be more in the scene. So that kind of goes with the distractions a little bit, but that's kind of like my pros and cons. My main pro is not having pencil marks. You get to have that. It's the iPad is the tabletop RPG's perfectionist.
You want me to go first?
Okay.
Is that you? Okay. You're one.
So
I'm two.
those are mine.
So
Let's
three.
go on
Fine.
to y'all. Who wants to
You
go
go first.
first?
All right. Well, I definitely agree that there are a lot of both pros and cons. I agree with you on the pencil mark. The like 2 times I've used paper sheets, it bothered me. It bothered me so much. But also, like, when going to online, so I use D&D Beyond for my stuff. I find it so much easier, and even though you have to pay to have as many characters as I have, which is almost 200 on there, yes, I make NPCs and characters on there. Leave me alone. But it is very convenient. It's very easy to build a character. No pencil marks. No pencil marks. It's very easy to just press something and go exactly where you need to go and see exactly what you need to see. Now they've even added where you can just click a button and roll the dice on there, which does not feel anywhere near as good as rolling real dice, but it may be a more affordable option for someone who can't afford to be a dice dragon. So technology can be really great in that aspect, especially for the DM. I'm going to be very honest. When I've DM'd, the best possible thing was having either my laptop or my tablet and having like 5 different or more tabs open of just random things I was looking at. Monster stats, my plan notes, all of those things I had up, as well as if I was playing online, the battle map and or Discord or whatever I was using at the time. But point is, it made it much easier than having, and I've done both, than having a book of notes and a physical book to have to flip through. It was just much more convenient. Now, it doesn't feel anywhere near as nice as having a physical book, but the convenience is so much easier, especially if you're going to like cons or anything like that. It's much easier to carry your phone than it is to carry a bunch of books. So convenience is the biggest thing for me why it's a pro. But cons, like Spark said, distractions. I've sat at tables before where people had their phone, they were playing games, they were looking up random stuff that was completely unrelated to the like, we could tell horror stories about that, couldn't we, Erica?
Mm-hmm.
I
For
was
sure.
there too. I was
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I
Yes,
was
you were.
also part of that.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
We could all tell a horror story about that, but point is,
Can't.
Can't.
we
Can't.
get demonetized or whatever they call it.
100% real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
but it is definitely a horror story of people looking up inappropriate things.
Yeah.
What was the other thing? I was gonna say another thing that I had experienced somebody doing at a table. I can't remember what it was now. But it was related to them looking up things on their phone that they shouldn't have been looking up in the middle of a table. And that's not great if you're the DM, because it's like, oh, well, I guess I'm doing a really crap job if they're not engaged. Or if you're a player, it can be distracting to you. Oh, that's what it was. Person was drawing at the table, which I'm an artist. I love to draw, and there's a bunch of stuff I need to do, but I try to limit that. I don't try to do it at the table. So I feel like it's disrespectful.
I know. I saw it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are things that can happen. It's so easy because, again, just swipe and go to the next tab and do what you're going to do. And then swipe back when it's your turn, which is what I've actually had players tell me before. It's like, well, I mean, I was just doing it because it wasn't my turn. It's like, well, it's because we're in the middle of roleplay. You don't really have a turn anymore. But that's a huge con, and it kind of goes along with what we were talking about it bugs us. The other con is, like Spark said, dissociating. You might get so focused on your device, and not necessarily with your character stats or anything, but with whatever else you're doing on your device, that you're not paying attention to your friends at the table. You're not interacting. And then you're not having fun at D&D either because you're not interacting. I've had the conversation with players before that were like, well, I just don't feel like I do anything at game. You don't. You're not interacting. You're doing something else. You're not paying attention. You're not going to have fun. And that comes down to, don't look here, look here.
As we're telling you this from your phone.
Yeah, don't look down at your phone. Look ahead at your fellow players. Obviously, if you're playing an online game, that's
It's a little
not.
more.
It's a little different, but going off of in person, that's things that I've experienced that
Yeah.
definitely are cons to me. I would not say the paper marks are the number one pro though.
Oh, for me, it is.
Number one is definitely convenience. Like, I'm not even gonna lie about it. I'm lazy. I don't like to carry a bunch of stuff.
I think my like pencil mark thing came from like when I was in like high school in English. Like we would have to write our papers in pen. Like any like physical paper we had to write, we had to write in pen.
That's terrifying, honestly.
So it was one of those like it kind of just stayed in my mind of like because pens are basically permanent. Like you mess up, you have to start over.
Yeah. They made us type. It's interesting that I'm basically a different generation than you, ahead of you, and they made you write in pen, and all of our papers had to be typed.
Well, that's if
mine was pencil.
Well, that was if it was a paper that wasn't like our official, like our like kind of like our big papers of the school year. They had to be typed.
Yeah.
You didn't have an option for those.
Yeah.
But anything that we wrote for like a test or anything like that, we had to write in pen. Yeah.
No, ours was pencil or typed.
Yeah. When I handed something in that's handwritten, every single teacher I had was like, "What is this? I can't read this." And I'm like, "That's how I write."
Yeah, teachers hated I write. So I am of the last generation that was taught cursive in school. Full cursive, not just to sign your name, because that's all they teach now. But I think my generation, like and like maybe like the one or two after that, were like one of the last ones to learn how to fully write in cursive, and that's what I stayed writing in. I liked it more than print. It's prettier. So, and it looks more professional, in my opinion. Like cursive just looks more professional.
I find that funny because for me, they stopped teaching it like halfway through my school career. And I'm older than you.
That is very interesting. Well, I guess it depends on location then.
Yeah, I think it is a regional thing.
But I know now they like, stopped teaching it now.
There was only 1 year they went through cursive, and it was like, you know how to write in cursive. Moving on. We're not teaching that. We're not covering that anymore. And I write to where it's a mixture of cursive and just normal like print.
I do the same thing.
That's how I write.
I do the exact same thing. I'll be writing cursive 1 second, and all of a sudden it's print now.
No, I take cursive and print and I interweave them with the letters. Like one letter of the word will be in print, the next one will be next two are in cursive, and then another one in print. Like I kind of like.
I will say
it's fucking chaos. It don't make no damn sense.
If it's like a capital letter, some of those I will do in print, like an S. And like Q's, like no, I'm not gonna do because the Q has like a little square loop. I'm not gonna do that. I just quick and fast.
Yeah. I will send y'all a picture of my handwriting at the end of this, and you can see how I write your name, Fox, and you'll see what I mean.
Probably better than I'll write anybody else's name here. My handwriting is awful. I want to add one more thing.
Yeah, go for
it. Sparks, I am very surprised that you added pencil marks, but you forgot one thing about writing in pencil. The little eraser nubs that make such a mess everywhere. That is the other pro to digital.
You just don't use pencils.
The shedding.
Yes, those eraser marks. Those I hated more than the pencil marks.
I kind of put like the pencil marks and the eraser marks in the same category
Not marks, but
because
you know those little
you
loose
you're
shavings.
talking when you erase, you get the eraser sheddings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
It
those.
poops. The little turd strings. Looks
I gotta
like
tell you,
fish turds.
Yes.
Little fish
yeah,
turds, at least fine.
those are easy. You can just swipe those away.
Okay, but I think it bothers me because as an artist for most of my life, I've
Yeah,
done traditional art, and when you have to erase, it's not a little bit of those. It's not
it's
a
a
little
lot.
bit. It's like
Yeah,
a page full.
yeah.
And when you have to go to swipe, it's kind of like nobody see me swipe these in the floor. Nobody see me do this.
You just do it really
And you
fast, and nobody
gotta
pays
clean those
attention.
up.
Obviously, if you're at home or something, you know, swipe them in the trash. But, you know, if you're like at school, which was most of the time I'm talking about this, or you're somewhere else, it's like you can't necessarily easily get to a trash can every 10 minutes. So it's like,
Just do it super fast, and nobody can see you. Just and then you're done.
yeah, it's still pet peeve. But anyway, we got off on a little bit of a tangent. Erica.
I don't care about eraser marks or pencil. So I went a totally different route than y'all did.
Of course,
Um,
of course.
it's a love-hate relationship for me because I don't like D&D Beyond. I like the books because and it's nothing and I get it. I get that it's convenient. I get that it's fast. I get all of the stuff. I beta tested it and I didn't like it then when they were first starting it out because I to me and this is me and it's very much like I play video games and I run a business and I use screens all the time. I'm a writer. I write on screens. I'm looking at a screen all the time. I don't want to have to look at a screen with game because to me, I associate screens almost in a negative way. Sometimes it's almost like like you said, there's a level of disassociation. And so when I'm watching people as a DM or as a player, and I'm sitting there and we're in the middle of a battle, and I look to my right, and the person to my right is on their phone and on their laptop, scrolling not one, two different social media, Facebook on the laptop, Instagram on the phone, it makes me hate having technology at table because the person behind the screen has spent their personal free time prepping that game, and you can't even disconnect from, let's be honest, the BS of social media to pay attention. Don't come. Stay at home and scroll on your 15 screens on social media. Like, that's my thing. I want to be present, right? I teach that in yoga. Yoga is all about being present, learning how to be present. And then it's like we bring screens to the table, and the next thing you know, we're not present because somebody's on YouTube watching a clip and somebody else is shopping on Amazon, which I have seen at table, or playing an MMO on their gaming laptop at a table, or drawing on their iPad at table. And I get it if you have kids and stuff and like you get a phone call and there's a family emergency. Yeah, step away from the table, do that. You got a business, something bad happens. Like I've had that happen to me. Family member goes in the hospital. Yes, that makes sense. But like the just scrolling and like, why do you even come? You can do that at home. But what you can't do at home is sit at a table and have an experience with your friends, this storytelling, collaborative experience. You can do all that crap somewhere else on your own time. Because it's not only the DM it's disrespectful to, it's the other players. Because you might make a very important decision that you have no idea what's going on, and then you mess up the whole experience for everybody else at the table, which has happened in a game I've been on. That's why I don't really like the screens because I feel like it's a gateway to distraction. I like the flipping through books. I like the diving into it and the rolling on tables. That's one reason why I have fallen in love with fallen kind of out of love with Dungeons and Dragons and more in love with Dungeon Crawl Classic, because there is no app. It is paper and pencil and a book, and you have to flip through the book, and you're looking at the book, which is considered part of play, and rolling on a table for your spell effects and, hey, this roll or that roll or this equipment or that, and that's part of play versus the other. And now I've heard that they're going to start, possibly somebody's working on like a website for DCC, and I'm just like going to pull my hair out if that becomes a thing, because my OSR kind of like table that doesn't use screens and they don't touch their screens during game is going to be ruined. I do like some technology at table. I like smoke machines at table. You get fog over terrain. I like the lighting at table. I like animated table maps for battle maps.
Yes.
I like music at table. I like the idea that if you have some type of disability, if you need to use technology to play, that's great. If it is something that like it gets you to a table in a tool that otherwise you couldn't play, that's awesome. I like that idea. I don't like digital dice because I don't think they roll properly. But you can always weight your dice, so there's that. And I get the appeal. I really do. But for me, I see it being a bigger distraction than anything else at table, besides maybe crosstalk.
Oh God, crosstalk.
So that's for me. And maybe, you've had different experiences. Maybe people don't do that at your game. Maybe nobody's sitting there playing a video game while you're at table on their laptop. But that's what I've experienced. It's almost like an abuse of the luxury of having it.
Yeah, the scrolling is something that I think is complete and total bullshit, because, like, don't get me wrong, there have been sometimes, yes, I've pulled like Twitter up, but it's because you get a notification for something and you're like, what is this about? And you go on there a couple of seconds, look at it, and then you put it away. Like, you get off of it. Like, I'm not going to spend 20 minutes scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or Twitter while I'm sitting there trying to have a good time with my friends. Like, it's one of those, you pick and choose when to look at it. If it's a quick glance, if it's something that popped up and you're like, oh, what is this about? Then yeah, I'll like take a quick look. It's a minute or two tops. Nothing that's going to take me fully out of a game. Nothing that's going to take me fully out of that mindset. But scrolling endlessly for like, yeah, just don't go. Just stay home.
And I think, and this is my opinion, and I could be wrong about this, I see more of that type of behavior from people who have never DM'd, and they don't understand what it's like to spend your personal time and your money, depending on if you had to pay for the module, in the system and everything else. And to sit there, and it's not like we're stupid. You can see that clearly that person is doing what they're doing. It's pretty obvious, the motions. And they're not paying attention. And it's just like, when I get tempted and I open it, I'm like, you know what? This is disrespectful because it pisses me off as a DM, so I'm not going to do it as a player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that might be part of it.
Yeah. I think everyone is guilty of looking at their phone at some point during a game. I'm not innocent. I've checked Messenger and things like that when I know that I've gotten something. But I'm like Sparks and Erica, I know what it's like to DM. And I don't want to be that person that's sitting there not paying attention because I'm focused on something that can wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually heard a DM talk about how when they notice that happening, something, even if it is not that player's turn, something happens to their character. Like, and then it's like, you know, oh, so and so, hey, while y'all were walking down the hallway, you stepped on a trap. Even if they rolled and their character succeeded on the roll to locate that trap, they still step on a trap. Because it's or like an NPC like shows up magically, like pops into existence, and or you have a vision, or you know, you get attacked from behind, or whatever it is, something happens to their character to pull them out of it. But then it's like, is that really on the DM to pull them out all the time if it's a consistent problem?
You just do something bad enough to them one time and scares them from.
If that even works, because they may not get the message that, oh, it's because I wasn't paying attention.
Well, and if it
That's the
doesn't
other
work,
thing.
you do the same thing again, and you're like, "Oh, you were distracted. That's why you didn't see it." They're like,
Okay,
but
that's
my
fair.
character wasn't. No, but you were.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, like, when we switch systems and we go to mask, I've told Sparks this. I don't know if I've told you this, Fox, but that's my table. That's the table rule for me.
Yeah,
No
you
technology
did.
at table. Yeah.
Which
Look,
in Mask, it's not necessary.
it's not needed at all. There's no excuse. Like, I mean, the only excuse is I don't like the pencil marks. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry about the pencil marks. There's literally nothing on your character sheet you have to erase. The only thing you have to do is tick. So I think you'll
Conditions.
be okay. Huh?
We'll
The conditions. There's
we'll
one
just have
thing.
to live with
That's
it,
it.
Sparks.
It's a line. It is a line.
Yeah,
There's no like
where it's not like
line.
that much. Like my big thing, like with Dungeons and Dragons, with that is you have to do it so often with
Yes.
health. You level
Yeah.
up. You have to change a lot of
Equipment.
things. Yes, so it's one of those like it honestly it really does depend on the system.
Yeah.
It depends
And that's
on
that's why I'm making it a rule, because of the system.
yeah.
Because there's no app for it. There's nothing you should be looking at. Everything you need is on a single piece of paper in front of you and your dice. And they're like 2 dice to the whole game. Like, there is no excuse for it. Besides, like, I have kids and I need to be available if something happens to my kids, so I have my phone with me. And that is totally acceptable. We all have shit, like, you know, that we need to be there for. And game is supposed to be fun. But you're also supposed to be present.
Yeah. But there again, checking your phone for a message to see, oh, let me make sure this wasn't my kid, or let me
Yeah.
make sure this isn't an emergency, is different from scrolling Facebook, scrolling Twitter,
Yeah.
scrolling Instagram.
Which
Yeah.
we all have pretty much now. What most people have, we have the smartwatches that notify you if you get a message, so you don't even have to pull your phone out. Like if it's like a message or something,
Yeah.
you look, okay, it's not that important, so you don't have to check it then. Is that it for that topic?
I think so.
I think so.
Now we go to the last one, which is Erica's.
Kind
It
of
is
following the trend of
kind of
the last
following, yeah.
one.
Kinda, yeah.
This is something that terrifies me, and it's something that I think about every day. I think about this on an economic level. I think about it in a personal level. I think about it affecting video games, which I'm obsessed with and brought me to this community, is AI. I'm terrified for people like Ashley because AI steals art and makes art, and people are using it in zines and modules and stuff they put out, and you know, it scares me. So basically, AI in the TTRPG community, whether it's how it affects DMing, or I guess we'll focus on just DMing. Maybe we can save the other ways, like art and stuff, for a different day. But for me, it scares me in a way because I've watched this guy, I think it's his YouTube channel is called The AI Guy. He has used an AI generator, and it is so scary. Joe Rogan is the dungeon master. Trump, and I'm bad with names, the guy who's like the food guy who's like really mean on Top Chef or Chopped or whatever. Some
Is
chef
that
Oh.
guy.
Gordon Ramsay?
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay, Elon Musk, and the other one, some Irish guy. I can't remember his name. Sorry. They have an AI generated game that is all those people. It has been run through an AI generator, and it sounds like every single one of them, they play characters, they make decisions, they go on a D&D campaign together. It is all all AI generated content. That scares me because it scares me one day somebody's gonna be like, here's this app, and it's by Critical Role. And it's an AI generated Matt Mercer DM. And you can pay a subscription fee for Matt to AI generate, your dungeon and run and respond. And the next thing you know, more technologies at the table. The screen means nothing. There's no in person DMs. It's a bot. That's what scares me. And I know that might sound paranoid and far fetched, but it's already a thing with an app. There's already an app that is a dungeon master AI, and there's so much content of people like Matt, Dimension 20 DMs, Matt Colville, like all, Dungeon Dudes, all the people, Jeannie, what is it, Jeannie D or whatever, all these people who have hundreds and hundreds of hours of content out there of them running games. I could just see somebody doing that.
I could definitely see that fear. I don't think personally that AI will ever replace a live DM just because AI is AI. AI is not, at least not at this point, advanced enough to know a good response for every single thing and will not always respond appropriately.
But what if it can? Like, what if in 5-10 years it can? And that's where I'm scared it's going to happen.
Me personally, I still don't think that an AI DM is going to replace a live DM. I think it will for people that don't have access to a live DM. Like, let's say there's 3 of you, none of you knows how to DM, none of you. Okay, cool. AI DM. Or like me and a friend of mine, we used to just do 2-person campaigns for the heck of it, so we would get bored and we took turns DMing. I would have loved to have an AI DM for those times. But at that time we didn't have it. But I don't think it's ever going to replace a live one because there's just, I mean, I've not used an AI DM, so I can't really say for certain. But there's just something about having a living person sitting across from you, telling you what's going on and responding without the possibility of the errors that an AI would have. I guess it's kind of a lie that I haven't, because I have used AI Dungeon to try and do that, and it was not any good at all.
So I kind of look at this in like a different light. I don't think it's going to be a problem now for the people that play Dungeons and Dragons now, or any tabletop RPG now, because people that are playing it now that have these like in-person games, they play online with other people. I don't think it is going to be an issue for this generation of D&D players. I don't think we're going to have to worry about it because we are going to want to still have the human contact that we have now. I think what AI generated stuff is going to be a later down the line, the next generation of D&D players or tabletop RPG players, because it's going to be more fleshed out. It's going to be more readily
like,
there
in the future.
But by the time it's in the future, we're not going to care about that. We're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to remember it. We're not going to be able to remember what we were doing. Like, it is. I don't think we have to worry about it now. In 20 years, it could be, the tabletop world could be different. It can be completely different. But I can see having an AI for a dungeon master for people that want to play together could be great. If it's like what Fox said, if it's 3 people, none of them know how to DM, none of them want to do it, having that and you can have a quick game, yeah, you could see how it goes and whenever it doesn't go that well because you don't have that emotion that a human being can give you. It kind of that can deter you away from that, one of you being like, okay, well, one of us is gonna have to learn or find somebody that is a DM to play with. But I don't see that as an issue now. I see it as an issue way down the line.
I agree.
Because
I think
it's still new. I mean, AI is not new, but that this level that we're at right now with AI is not going to be able to make split decisions. It's not going to be able to do that. In the future, yes, it will be. There's a lot of content they're going to have to scan into this shit for it to be able to work properly. And there's a lot of things that they're going to have to research and use and kind of test for it to be what it needs to be, for it to be to physically replace a dungeon master.
And even then, with the emotion aspect, I really don't think it ever can. Me
Yeah.
personally.
I don't know. I think it's more of like that future that worries me as a writer, just because we've seen it in the video game industry, right? They don't like the side quests, right? They've been using AI to generate side quests and put them in video games because they don't have to pay a writer to do it. And there's even video game developers that are considering implementing it to where AI, like if it's an ongoing game, right? And you have like daily quest, they will use an AI generator to generate daily quests for that like MMO. And they don't have to pay a writer to do that. The AI does it. And then it's a slippery slope, right? First it's like the side quest, and then it's the whole campaign, and then it's the art, and then it's the dungeon master. And and it is one of those things that, like, if they could pull it off, if you could have an app where your dungeon master is whoever, D&D influencer or whoever it is, if they could make it and they charge you $5 a month for it, it would, hell,
The
I could they
only thing that I
they
can
were
see with that is I don't think that we would see it with an issue with celebrity voices. Like those influencers, because whoever does it, that is a legal battle that I would not want to be in.
That, like I said, that guy, that AI guy on YouTube, Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, those are huge
here's the
people.
thing.
It depends on how they do it. If they put it under parody, then it falls under fair use.
Yes, but I do not see it for somebody to make money off of it, though, in that aspect of an app.
He monetizes those videos.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But if it's parody, it's not something that it's coming up. Yes, it is coming up with it kind of on the fly, but it is parody. It's not something that an average person has to pay for to use. That is going to be the legal battle. That is going to be the legal battle that I would not want to be a part of, because that is going to be, because that's technically, it's impersonation if you use something to sell something else. But
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Darrington Press makes an app, says this is Matt, this is Taos.
So that's different.
This is
you're talking about talking about them. But if you go with, if it's going to be some other company doing it, they're using other celebrities' voices.
No, I'm talking about them. They make it. They run it through. They want you to, and this is all hypothetical. Like, oh, I'm Jeannie D. Wouldn't you love to sit at a game with me? Now you can. It's $5.99 a month on my app. Dimension 20, Abria, Bryangar, Brennan, all of them. They all make one. And you've always wanted to play with me. Now you can, from the comfort of your own home. People would buy it. And they would replace people like me. I am nowhere near the caliber of them as a DM. And
I don't
what
know. You're
happens?
pretty good.
No, I'm not. I can't. I can't compete with those people. I am not delusional. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it could be an option if AI is smart enough, if they develop it enough.
I mean, I can definitely see the worry. I mean, it's like you said with the art community, that's currently a worry because AI is getting better with it. But I truly don't think it's ever going to fully replace the human element. I'm going to stick by that argument.
I hope not.
I just don't think it will because AI just it doesn't seem like it's ever going to have that emotion that a human does. Cuz think about it, you have an AI DM bot and it's going to make logical decisions based on what you do and what it knows. You have a human, yeah, they're going to make logical decisions, but they're also going to be like, "Oh, this is going to kill them. I'm going to drop its HP like 20 so they have a chance." The AI is not going to do that. The AI is going to be like, "Nope, here's the thing that you messed with that you shouldn't have messed with." Or it may not create as in-depth stories for these players as the DM will. I just don't think it's going to be as engaging. Just like the artwork is not generally as good. Like, there's some okay ones, don't get me wrong. But to get that one okay piece, you have to go through like 100 crappy ones.
Oh yeah.
And I know that because I've got a couple of players that flood my inbox with images like, here's NPC ideas. And it's all AI generated and they're great and I use them. But they will legitimately tell me it took me 50 tries to get this one piece. So things like that are why I don't think AI can replace the human element.
I hope it doesn't. And maybe I'm paranoid, but it's something that I do think about. I think about it like as a job. I think about it, you know, and it's not just writing. It's so many things it can replace. You know, I've seen people saying that basically GBT or whatever could basically replace every secretary there is in an office at this point.
Being a secretary / receptionist for an office, I don't think that's true. Chat.
And I don't know, like I'm not a tech bro. I don't know how all that works. It's just everything that I hear and I see about it, it just makes me worry about that future, that robotic future, right? Where we're just constantly being replaced with AI here and there. And where does everybody go? And how does it affect the economy and us as humans?
Definitely a worry to have. I do think you're right about that, that eventually we're all going to go to a world where everybody has to work with something with technology, for the most part, because a lot of jobs are going to be done by an AI, or they're going to be automated. I do think that's true. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the secretary, because ChatGPT can't answer phones, they can't greet. All it can do is sit there and write things. For the moment.
For the moment.
But I do think eventually it will get to where probably it can answer a phone more effectively and tick every single person off that calls that line. Let's be honest, even you in the comments, who likes getting robocall or getting the robo answering machine when they call a company? Who among you always gets that robot and says, "I want to speak to a human," until you get one? I'm that person. I can't stand talking to robots. And I do it all day long, calling companies for insurance, and it's just like, can I talk to a human? Can I talk to a human?
We need to just get representative.
Yeah, and it's like, thank God you're a human.
Nope.
Representative.
I say either one, and I just refuse. I just say human. And eventually,
Exactly.
they do human.
Exactly
I do the
my
same
point.
thing.
Exactly my point. That just leads me to my point of not fully.
It's one of those, like, I guess, like far-fetched topics, right? It's like in the way future, like like Sparks was saying, it might not be our generation or the next generation or whatever, but like we don't know. Like you think 50 years ago of how the table was different when all of this started. People weren't live streaming. They weren't using computers. Like the difference between the way it is now versus the way it was then, how
True.
much it's changed in another 50 to 200 years. That's one reason why I hate that idea of like dying, is because I want to see what video games look like in 200 years.
Well,
Like,
maybe
where's it gonna go?
maybe before that happens, they'll figure out how to put heads in jars.
I'm hoping that they will be able to put my consciousness in some robotic body and I can continue on and see what happens.
It's gonna be the Nerf gear from Sword Art Online. That's the future of video games, where you put a headgear on and you lay down in your bed, and you get put into that world.
So bad for your body.
I mean,
bad.
Barring you get trapped in the world and you die if you take the headset off, that would be cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
That's what it's coming
Ready
to.
Player One. Yeah.
That's what it's going to. I mean,
but that's the thing. Like, nobody probably 30 years ago thought that that's where video games would be going. They never thought that one day that's how it was going to be. They always thought it's going to be this controller and online gaming. And now we have Xbox Game Pass and everything's so different. And now it's like, oh, you just put this headset on and you lay down for 15 hours and you're in a different world. And you forget about the one you actually exist in. It's like disassociation to like an extreme level.
yeah. But how cool would it be though for you to actually run around in like Horizon Zero Dawn, like that world, or
Oh
like
my gosh.
in Gotham City?
I can't because I get motion sickness.
But you wouldn't get motion sick though.
I get motion sickness from VR. I do.
No, but that's the thing.
But in the perfect world, you wouldn't.
No, but that's the thing though. With these headsets, you don't.
I've had one.
No,
they made me sick.
But it's not like that though. Like in that, it sends everything to your brain. You don't move around in the real world. It's everything. It shoots everything into your brain. Yeah.
Oh, I froze.
Yeah, you're frozen.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Fox is frozen, or she's just like really hardcore holding a pose.
Yeah. Well, on that note, as cameras malfunction, I think that's it for all of our topics today.
I think so.
Let
us know what you think about AI DMs. What's the future?
Let us know your thoughts on the topics that we talked about today. And if you have any topics you would like us to talk about in a future video, you should totally leave them in the comments. Just go back and watch all of our other videos so that way you don't say a topic we've already talked about. No, I'm just kidding. You can do that, but
we'll just scroll past those.
We'll just scroll past it. So,
yeah.
But well, thank you for your suggestion. And
no, we won't because you've already done it, and we're just gonna scroll on past it. Delete the comment. Just kidding. Maybe.
Delete the comment.
Look, comments are good for the algorithm. Just do it.
But
yeah. Hit the
like, comment, and subscribe if you're on our YouTube channel.
The little bell and smash that stuff or whatever everybody says.
Smash that like button.
But
hi guys, I'm back with another video. Smash that like button. Let's go.
But that is where we'll end today's session. So it's been Sparks Valentine, Foxfire, and Erica Nerdy Yogi. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, it is Sparks here. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Dice and Dish. We really hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure if you're ever on our YouTube channel to hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the like and comment on maybe some topics you want us to talk about in a later video. If you're on Apple Music or Spotify, make sure to hit that subscribe button to know whenever a new episode comes out. Our next episode is going to be out on October 20th at 12 p.m. CST. And I think that's it, really, for announcements. Make sure that you follow Ragnaborg on Twitter and look up Adriana's Tower on Kickstarter. So, yeah. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.